Hey there, my gorgeous friends on the internet. Welcome back to the DevAt channel, baby. Today we're gonna have some fun. It's holidays, it's December. I can't believe it's December already. I plan to do so many things this year. And it's like, I guess after you reach a certain age, life just 10x's in speed and there's nothing you can do about it. But Astro, I thought, well, hey, let's make a fun project with Astro. People love that thing. So I didn't want to make like a blog or, something like that static, because people know that you can use that for Astro. But what a lot of people don't know is you can actually use Astro in like server mode. So you can kind of use it like a SSR framework. All right, so what are we going to be building? Check this out. It's pretty cool. So it's a post sharing application, kind of like X, a scuffed version of X, you could say. But it's got some cool features I want to show you. So here are some posts that I made, which are videos. And check this out. Cloudinary has this cool integration now where you upload a video and it uses AI to kind of find the best bit of the video. So we're going to use that basically for previews here to hover over, and that just is pretty cool. And then if you click on the post here, for example, it goes into the full video. So here you can view the actual 19 seconds of it, but that's going to try to pull out with AI, which is pretty cool. So then here, as you can see, we have a comment section as well. We can like posts. So we'll hook up Better-Auth. I know a lot of people love that package now. So I thought, hey, let's integrate it in Astro as well for fun. So check it out. Let me show you the uploading process as well. Here we go. Let's do this one, right? And I can hit done here, and that's gonna magically appear here. Oh, look, I already had one. One's liked, one's not liked. Let's delete this one quickly. There we go. We use Daisy UI for some styling there. But check this out. By default, it's private, so it's not shared. So if I go back here to the home page, as you can see, it doesn't pop up here as the public posts. But if I go back here and just turn this to boop, public, I can even like it to show you that in a second. But if I go back here, look at that. It's a public post now that I liked. I can also go to someone else's profile to see what their posts are. So if I click here, look at this. This is their dashboard. They have 2 videos uploaded. I can go to their respective posts as well and maybe leave a nice little comment. But let's not do it on that one. Let's do it on this one instead. Good job, little bro. All right, ready? Let's get going. Alrighty, so let's get started setting up this project. We're gonna do it from scratch because we love that sort of stuff. So just get my terminal open here, and to get started with Astro, we can run this command npm create astro at latest. So let's pop that sucker in there and run it. Houston, we are good to go. Now for the template, I'm just gonna set here a basic minimal starter, all right? And then I'm gonna install the dependencies, and we are also gonna create the Git repository. Okay, so now that we have the project initialized, what I want to do is add a couple more packages on top of it. So we want to use React as well for our islands. So that's one we need. We want Tailwind as well, and also Node so we can put it in server mode. So if you want to find out where that is, if you go Astro, and if you search React, let me pull up the browser here so you can see. As you can see, you can add React like that. So npx astro add React. So let's pop that in. Okay, and now here it's gonna tell you if you wanna install the React packages. So let's get all the React dependencies in. And it's also automatically gonna give you a pop-up where it shows, hey, we can automatically configure your Astro config MJS, all right? So Astro has its own like config file. So here it's gonna add these 2 lines of code. So the import React and also the integration here with Astro. So let's add that. Yes, 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 continue, good to go. Now let's do the same for Node. So I'm going to copy this command here, npx astro add node. I think mine didn't work here because I'm actually initialized this project on Astro v4. So it might be just that this version is a bit older. So I can do 8.33. That's a bit of an older version, which should work just fine. There we go, clear. And once you have that installed, again, if you run that command, it should automatically add it. But if not, we can just head over here to the Astro config MJS and just paste those lines of code in. So we can get the Astro command right in here. Let's paste that there. And let's also get this bit of code right here. Let's see, output server, and the adapter is gonna be Node. Okay, so let's paste that in, hit save, and you should be good to go. And finally, let's also add the Tailwind extension. So npx astro add Tailwind, we can run that command. Let's get out of here. And we are going to also let it generate this file for us. There we go. we're gonna add the import tag here and also add it to our integrations, and we are good to go. So let's start this off. I'm gonna use nvim. You can use VS Code or whichever editor you want. Okay, so let's get this file structure out here. So we got our assets here, we got our components, we got our layouts and our pages. All right, we currently have one page in here, as you can see, with one component, which is our welcome page, which is an Astro file, as you can see up here, right? And if we go into this welcome here, as you can see, it just has some import text at the top and renders out some div and maybe some styles. So we can run npm run dev here. And let's have a look at this. I'll get the browser open. Astro usually runs it on localhost 4321. So there you go. You can get a nice quick preview of this. Lovely. So let's just clean this up. We don't really need this welcome file. So I'm just going to head here and hit delete on that. We'll go to the index here, get rid of that, save. We are good to go. Okay. And let's just go in our layout now and say h1, hey. All right, cool. Let's save, and there we go. So we start off from scratch. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is probably add auth to this. So the package I'm going to be using again is Better-Auth. I think it's really fun. It's really easy to work with, and they usually integrate with everything. Considering it's a new package as well, it's just crazy that they managed to like support everything pretty much straight out the gate. So highly recommend it. Well done. So let's head over here to Better-Auth, and the command we need to run is npm install Better-Auth. So let's go here, close up the development server, npm I Better-Auth. I also want to hook up Drizzle to this so we can save our users. So let's head over to Drizzle ORM and get all the dependencies installed as well. So let's go to docs, Postgres we'll use. And let's do it with Neon because it's quite fast and simple. So here we go. On Neon, we can install these two. So npm drizzle ORM and the Neon database serverless. And I also want to get Drizzle kit in here to generate all the tables, you know, and also do Drizzle Studio and all that good jazz. Okay, now that that's installed, let's also add Drizzle kit. And whilst we're at it, let's also add the Cloudinary integration. And that's pretty much everything we need for this project. So let's do npm Astro Cloudinary, and then Astro Cloudinary, which is their new package. Also add .env for some config files that we need to add, but that's pretty much everything we'll need. Okay, we are good to go. Let me get ready here, because we're gonna write some crazy code. Okay, good. Let's run back the server, npm run dev. Cool. Okay, so before we can save our users and set up our Better-Auth, we'll need to create our Drizzle config. So let's just go here, and I'm gonna make a new file in my root directory called this drizzle.config.ts. All right, this is gonna be pretty much standard how you make this. So it's gonna be quite easy. We're gonna import define config. This is from their docs, so not from Astro. You want to import this from Drizzle. Drizzle kit. There we go. Cool. So we got that. I'll import .env as well here, just so we can pass down the correct environment variables. And so we can do .env config, because it won't get recognized here. But if I pass the path here as my .env file, which we're going to make in just a second, everything will work fine here. So export default, we'll define this config. There we go, pop that open, and here, the dialect that we want to use. So depending what you want to use, we're gonna use Postgres, so I'm gonna pass that in. Schema here, we'll need to come back to this. We don't have a schema right now, but we can define the out, which is where your migration is gonna go. So I'm gonna say db, I'm gonna call this migrations like that. Okay, so that's the folder that it's gonna create. And then the db credentials here. So you need a URL, right? I'm gonna be using Neon here, so again, if just whatever you want, right? But I really like Neon. So you make a thingy here, and then you go here, right? And then you got this connection string. So you want to get that connection string and paste it in. So the place you want to do it, let me just open this up, right? We'll make a .env here in the root directory. You can set this as a database URL like that. All right, so in here, you want to paste in that connection string, right? So put that there. I'm gonna hide it, okay? I don't want you to see it. Okay, so I added my connection string. So now here you can access it with process.env.database URL like that. And that should be good to go. Your Drizzle config is ready. One more thing again here is we'll need the schema, but that's fine for now. We'll use Better-Auth to actually generate the schema for you. How cool is that, by the way? If we just look at the Better-Auth docs here, so we installed it, npm install Better-Auth. It also asks us to put a auth secret here. Now, it just generates a string for you, so you can actually use it on their website to generate it, which is pretty cool. So generate secret, right, and copy it. So again, that goes in the env. So I'll just head back here. So there we go. We'll paste in the Better-Auth secret as well. And also you'll need to paste in the Better-Auth URL here. So ours is going to be the same, almost the same. The local host though here is going to be 4321. Okay, so there we go. We got that as well. Next up, we need to create this auth file here called auth.ts. So let's make this as well. I'm going to open up the side panel here, and this is going to go in our, let's make a new folder called lib. And we're going to put auth.ts in here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so in here, we're going to import Better-Auth from Better-Auth like that. Let's also import our Drizzle adapter. So this is coming from Better-Auth / adapters / Drizzle. That didn't recognize it for some reason. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, never mind, it did. There we go. We got the Drizzle adapter in as well. Okay, now let's go down in here and say export const auth is equal to Better-Auth. Open up an object here, and we'll need to pass in the database here. So Drizzle adapter, DB, and our open up a little object here. The provider is going to be PG here for Postgres. And then here we'll need to pass in the schema, which we don't have yet. So let's just get rid of that. And that's it. We'll come back to this because we don't have the DB here. So yeah, for the DB, let's just make another folder here and call this DB / let's call it index.ts. All right, that's going to be our main entry point here. So in here, we can say import Drizzle from Drizzle ORM / neon HTTP. We can use this module. And here we'll say export const db, set that equal to Drizzle. And here we can use import meta.env. So we're going to say database URL. And then here we'll need to pass down the schema as well, but let's just save it now. Okay, so now that that's available, we can head back to our auth here and import that DB. We are gonna say here, see, as you can see, we're importing DB. Let's just go here and add B there, and look, it auto completes it, and boom, it just imports it straight from that folder. Okay, now we need to just generate those schemas. The cool thing about Better-Auth is that it does it automatically for you. So as you can see, configure the database, we've done that, and then we'll just need to pass in whatever like providers we want. But we can run this command here, npx Better-Auth CLI generate. So let's give that a go. Let's just go here. Shut up. Let's run that. Hit yes. And it's just going to output it in our code here in a file for us. And then we can just copy paste it over and we are done. So there we go. It asked me to generate one. So I'm going to say yes and done. That's all we need. So if we head back here, I'll close the bloody tab. Oh no. Okay, so let's run nvim back again. And if we open this up, we should see now that it has an auth schema generated for us. Look at that, users with the sessions and account. Now I'm not gonna keep it here. Instead, I'm gonna move it in that database folder that I made. So a trick, if you want to nvim a little bit, have some nvim fun, you can do shift V, right, for visual select, and then you can do shift G to go all the way to the bottom. If you're like in the middle somewhere here, you can do GG for good game, and then shift V, and then shift G, and then Y for Yankin, and there you copied the whole bloody file. So now you can just go back here. Oops, not there, sorry, here. And then you can go in your DB, and in here, I'm gonna press A to create a schema. Schema.ts, enter, Shift D, paste, boom, you're done. Okay, good, okay, we're good. There we go. So that's it. Now this is all set up so we can actually migrate and push our changes to our database. So the way you can do that is, let's just go to the package.json here and set up the scripts right here, because that's the way I like to do it. So here, I'm gonna call this generate. So we'll make one called generate, and this is gonna be Drizzle kit. And then we're gonna say generate, and I'm gonna pass in that config file. So just so it knows where it is, I'm gonna say Drizzle, like that, .config.ts, all right? So that's where you can find it. So one for generate and one for pushing. So let's do that as well. That's Drizzle kit push instead now with the same config file here. Wonderful. Don't forget your commas. It's gonna complain if you don't add the commas, but that's it. We are done. So now that that's done, we can run a clear here and run npm run generate like that. And look at that. Oop, careful. We don't have a schema provided there, so we can go back and fix all those little problems up. So let's go back here. Now that we have our schema, we can head over to our database. So let's just search for our DB here, right, where we're importing the Neon HTTP adapter. Let's just go here to the top. We're gonna say import everything as schema, just so we get all the schemas like kind of bundled up together. I'll get the schema here, and here for the second argument, I can just pass in the schema like that. And since it's schema equals to schema, I can just pass in the same name like that without doing schema colon schema. Okay, so now that we have our schemas all hooked up, we can finally push this. So npm run generate, let's run that, see if it works. Ooh, look at that. Why is that happening? It says the schema is still not defined. Oh, it's because we passed it down here, but in our config, let's just have a look quickly. Drizzle config here. Oh yes, so here, make sure you also pass down, whoops, the schema. All right, so let's pass that down here as well. So we can just add a comma there and just import everything like we did before. But to keep it simple, you can just pass down the actual URL here. So let's do src/db/schema, right? That's where we have it. So let's save. Okay, let's give this another go. npm run generate. There we go. So now it worked. As you can see, it generated the 4 tables: account, session, user, and verification. So we can run npm run push, which should push it in our database. So if we have a look here, I just made a new one here, so whatever, we'll just kind of delete this. If you stole my key, yeah, okay, so there we go. Account, session, user, verification. So boom, there we go. We got all the information ready for us to work with. Lovely. So now we can make our nav. Well, one more thing we need to do is actually add an auth provider. We'll use GitHub. You can add whatever you want to add. If you know how to add the GitHub, you can add the Google one really easily. You just pop in the extra keys. So let's do that. So one thing, let's go back here, right? We'll need to head over to our Better-Auth config. So auth, let's search that up. There we go, lib auth. Okay, so we got the database passed down there. Let's also do social providers. So there we go. You just define social providers. And here, go through and pick whichever you fancy. It's really nice how they have this set up. I love it. We'll do GitHub though. GitHub, and here you'll need a client ID and a client secret. If you haven't set any of these up before, I'll show you where you can get these. But I'll pass it down here called import.meta.env.github client ID like that. All right, these are not defined yet. I'll just put them here and then we'll pass it down later on. So let's do that. Import meta env.github client secret. All right, so we got those two. We need to pass that into our env. So the way you can get that is you head over to GitHub and then open up the panel. We'll need to go to actually settings here. And developer settings, let's head to the bottom here, OAuth apps, and I'll just make a new one called Astro. All right, and then we'll need the homepage URL. For now, we can just honestly pass down this local host, which is going to be fine. Where are you? Here. So let's pass that down there. There we go. And then for the OAuth callback here, we'll need to pass down the same, and we'll say API/OAuth/callback/GitHub. All right, let me zoom in so you can see. There we go. Is that big? Can you see it? That's what we need to pass down. Make sure you pass this down. It's not going to work if you don't pass it down. Trust me, I tried it. Register that sucker. Now that it's registered, you got your client ID, and you can generate the secret here as well. Ask you for GitHub Mobile. Bloody hell. Hold on. Confirm digits. There. I confirmed it. Okay, so there you go. So now you can copy this over, and remember how we named these. If we head back, so GitHub client ID, GitHub client secret. So let's open this up. We can go to the env. There we go. Bottom. Whoops. We'll go GitHub client secret. We'll paste that sucker in there. GitHub client ID. And then we'll paste the other sucker in there, which is this one. There we go. And that's all you need. You are ready to start OAuth. That's all the setup. I don't think we need anything from here, so we can pretty much close this up now and just head back here. All right, so let's start creating our first component. I'm gonna head over here to components, and I'm actually gonna create a TSX component as our first one. So nav.tsx, that's what I'm gonna name it, right? Yeah, and in this nav.tsx, we're essentially gonna pass down the OAuth. So just the nav, right? A little nav component here for everyone to enjoy. So what's that gonna return, right? We got nav, then you got your UL in there. And each UL should hold an LI, right? We'll have an A tag here. We don't have any like special link tags or anything like that. So here we can just have an A tag with a href, just going to slash right back home. And then we'll add a little logo here. I'll import that for you. We'll just leave that empty for now. So in here, essentially what I want to do is render out the logo. I'll include this in the GitHub repo. It's just an image of a cat, okay? So that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna copy that. I'll import it here at the top. Let's get this cat in, and here we'll just render out the image. Okay, so we'll do image, do a close stack here so it doesn't take up too much space. Let's pass in the source. So it's gonna be logo.src, and then we can say an alt tag here. So just add your logo name there, right? That's all you really need. Okay, there we go. I think what I did here is with the A tag, let's just format this a bit. And I'll add a span tag here as well. Span, let's give it a name, call it lazy scroll, like that. Okay, cool. So there we go. We got that. Let's add a bit of styling here. We're gonna see py of 6. Oops, class name, py of 6. Add a bit of padding there. And then here, of course, I want to flex all of these, right? So we'll say flex with justify of between. Let's also add an items of center. Okay, and now here is basically like based on my session now of what I want to output. I either want to output a login button or a logout button. But let's just get this component rendered out. So we'll do this in our layout because we essentially want to render it everywhere. So here, right, we have a slot, which is each of our pages, but let's render out the nav like that. Now it's not there. It probably won't import it super easily. So let's go here to the top. You can add the front matter like that. All right, this is where you do all your imports. This is where you can get everything, you know, fetched on the server side before it renders. And now keep in mind in Astro, if you don't have the node integration, it just does it on build time. All right, so everything in the front matter here gets fetched and then statically rendered. If you have the node on, with server mode, then it's going to do it per request as well. So we have that set up, so that's fine. So we're going to import nav from, where did I put this? Let's see, dot slash into our component slash nav tsx. Make sure you include the extension, otherwise it might not work. So let's save that and see if that works. And now if I refresh, as you can see, there we go. We got our nav popping in right there. And that was just a huge image with nothing else on there, but that's fine. The reason why is because I want to pass down the actual user here into the nav so we can render it out, right? So let's do that. So we'll head to the top here. So how can we get the info about the user? Well, let's go down here, still in the front matter. We can import OAuth from, and then we can go to our lib slash OAuth, right? There we go. So we got our OAuth in, and then we can get the session by saying await OAuth API slash get session. There we go. And then here we can pass down the headers, Astro request headers. All right, that's how you can access it with Astro. There you go. And then you got your headers there, and boom, you got the session ready to be passed down as well. So I can head here to the nav, for example, say sesh is equal to session. There we go. We can also add a client here and say onload, just so we can enable JavaScript here as well. By default, I think this is just disabled. Remember, Astro just serves no JavaScript by default. So we can do it on load, or when the client becomes visible, it starts loading up the script. But we're gonna say load, all right? There we go, and save. This is gonna throw a type error. Don't worry, we're gonna fix it. Now, one thing I'm gonna add here, which I highly recommend you get off the GitHub, is a way in Drizzle to essentially create, what's it called? You know, we want types, right? But sometimes you're passing down stuff here that's in relation with other tables. So I want to create something that essentially allows me to create the types based on the relations that those tables have as well. So I'll create a new file. Let's do it in, let's do it in the lib here, right? In the lib, open this up, or create called, let's do infer types.ts, like that, okay? So it's gonna look something like that, okay? Now this is gonna be really useful in just a second, but it's gonna be in my file infer types. So I highly recommend you to just copy paste this over. Okay, cool. So now that we're passing down the session here, we can head back to our nav tsx, right? So let's head back here and import that session. I'm just gonna go here at the top. I'm gonna say type nav props, for example, and we're gonna have a sesh here coming in, right? So that session is gonna basically have the session like that, and that's coming from session. You can import it from Better-Auth, so they have that set up automatically for you, so you don't need to get the types, and the user as well, that comes from Better-Auth as well. So you can just get them easily like that. Make sure you add a semicolon here. Cool. Otherwise, this can also be null. All right, so let's also add that null. Cool. Now, if you get weird type issues here, it's because of the Astro prop that we're passing down here. Let me just show you, right? If you go back to the layout, right, the client load here, all right, that might mess it up for you. So if you want to get the types for that, what I did was here at the end, I said and Astro client directives. All right, that's what you need to import like that. Cool. And hopefully let's still get some sort of type error. Oh, it's okay, we'll fix this in just a second. Okay, let's just keep going though. That should work anyway. Let's head back here then, and let's extract this. So sesh is gonna be a nav props like that. Is that still, let me just close this up and open it up quickly, because it might just be the LSP messing up. There we go. Yeah, see, it works now. I'm just gonna go here to the A tag and pass some styles down as well. So I'm gonna do hover underline with a flex, gap of 2, item center, and that's pretty much it. I'll show you how you can insert fonts as well for something custom, but I'm happy with that. This image, I believe it's still like super duper massive. It is. So I just change the class name and a width of like 20, right? Really small. It's kind of like a logo size. There we go. That looks good. happy with that. All right, so we got the logo going, which is great. Next up, after this li, right, we want to do another li, but based on the session. So if there's no session going on here, then a question mark, then I want to render out my like button, right, that does a sign in. Now we're going to replace this with a component, but let's just add that for a second, right? So let's hit save, and look at that, sign in, right? Because we don't have a session. Now I also want to kind of tighten this up a bit. It's too stretched out to the corner, so let's do that. Let's head back to our layout. There we go. And here, I'll just do it on the body, right? You can go up here. I'll do a class. Remember, it's class here because it's Astro file. Only when we're working with React Islands, you need to add the class name. We'll do an MX of 4, right? If we're on large screen, it's fine. We can push this back to like 24. Now, this is stretching out for some reason. I believe they didn't add border box for some reason here by the default. Yep, so let's do box. What's it called? Sizing. Box sizing, border. Goodness sakes. Give me my border box. There we go. Let's get rid of the width. We don't need that. That's going to make it not work. There we go. Perfect. So we got sign in button and lazy scroll. Lovely. Now, rather than just having the sign in button like that on its own, let's actually create a new file for it. All right. So check this out. Let's head back here. We'll head over to our lib, and I'm going to create a new file called off client. All right. Let's head in it. So here, this is given to you by Better-Auth. We can just get this in here. There we go. Oh, it comes from the client here, sorry. That's it. There we go. And then we can initialize it, so off client. There we go. And then this will just like give you a bunch of awesome stuff that you can export. So for example, we'll need a sign in, right? So sign in. Let's just create a function here. It's an async like that. And then we'll extract the res here, the response. So you can do off client, check this out, dot sign in or sign up. There's a bunch of stuff that they have on here. Sign in we'll use. And this is a social sign in, right? So you can do email as well. And then you just pass in the provider here. There we go. So this is gonna be, it's all like auto-completed with TypeScript. So you can just do that. There we go, GitHub. And the callback URL as well. So let's just put this to like the home page, right? Cool. And then here I'll say if there's been an error, so response.error, and then I'll just return, let's just do an error here with res error, right? And then here I can say if there's res data though, well then return a success instead like that with res.data. Okay, that's it. That's all you need. Should we do the sign out as well whilst we're here? Let's do it. Export const sign out. Again, just an async function. Get the res, await, off client, sign out this time. See, it automatically has that field, so we don't even need to do much. That's it. That's all you need to do, and then just return whatever you want to return. So, I mean, this can be pretty much, we just yank this sucker, it can be the same thing. Whoops. Let's delete that line. Well, why did it do that? Oh, it's because when you do the delete dd, when you do the dd, it just copies it to your clipboard. Shame. But that's it. All right, that's all we need. That's our off client ready to go. So now we can create a new component to use this. So components, A for create, and we can call this GitHub sign.tsx, something like that. So here we can import that sign in from the client we just made and just make it just a normal component, right? GitHub sign. Okay, and then here we'll just return a button. Now let's add a little like styling component to this as well, or like a library. So I'm gonna be using Daisy UI. We'll add that, but they use like super simple like class names, right? So I can do button primary. So I'll just add it now. There we go, just to make it look a bit nicer. But you can add your own custom, whatever. Just didn't want to focus too much on the styling here. So just run an async function on this button, right? And we just want to say wait sign in like that. There we go, and that's it, right? Let's give it a name here as well. Sign in with GitHub. Okay, so you run the sign in, right? And then if you remember, we're basically returning an error or a success. So if the res.error, well, then you can do whatever you want with it here, right? I'll just console log it out for now. And of course, as well, if you have a res.success, then you can run any other custom functionality right here. Okay. That should be fine. All right, so we should use this instead now in our nav. So you can do left bracket B, and then you can jump between the buffers up here, right? Okay, so no sign in button. We have our own custom one now. So let's go up here, import GitHub sign. Okay, that's imported now. So we can go down here, and rather than rendering that out, let's do the GitHub sign instead. There we go, that looks great. So let's also go down here and also catch if we do have a session, right? Then I want to render something else out. So here I actually want to render out a couple of things. So I'm going to add a div. Oh, and here let's just add the null now, so it doesn't error out for us. But let's just add a div here because I want to render out a couple more LIs here. So I'll add a class name, flex, item center, gap of 6, just so they're all nicely sticking beside each other. And then here we'll do a div. This is gonna like hold our icon. So here we can add an A tag. Let's do an A tag. And this A tag is gonna take us to our href equals to, let's take us to dashboard. We'll make a custom page for that. And here we'll pass down an image as well, which is gonna be source equals to sesh user image. Got it. Lovely. Pass that in. Looking good. And then one more thing I want to have here is a sign out button, right? So we're going to have another li. And here we'll make a new component again. So let's just go here and create a sign out tsx. Now the sign out tsx is pretty much going to look the same as almost the other one. Here, I'm going to import the sign out from the client. I'm also going to run the sign out. And if it's an error, then I'm going to throw an error. If there's success here, I'm just going to refresh the page. Since Astro doesn't have a way to, revalidate a tag or something like that, like they have in Next.js, we'll just need to perform a window refresh, which can be still super fast. But I'm just passing in / there, right, to get us back home. Okay, so there we go. That's all we need to do there. So if we head back to our nav, we can render that out and actually try this out. So let's head over here and do the sign out. There we go. That's actually properly importing it as well. Thank you so much, NeoVim. Okay, can we give this a shot? Let's give it a shot. So there we go. We have sign in with GitHub. Let's also add Daisy UI quickly. So you're going to see that styling update quickly. So again, all we did was add button, the class button, and button primary, right? That's all we did. Okay, so npm I Daisy UI at latest. Let's pop this in before we can test it out. You gotta have a nice looking button. There we go, paste that in. There we go, after we install it, if you try to run it, it still doesn't work, as you can see there. You need to add it to the plugins tab here in your Tailwind project, okay? So, in your config file. So if you do tailwind.config mjs there, see you have this plugins thing here. You wanna just plug that sucker in there like that, okay? And there we go. So now if you run npm run dev back up again, you should see that update. Let's have a look. There we go. Look at that. You have a nice button now. Okay, let's give this a go then. Click sign in. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, it didn't work. Any errors getting thrown? Server responded with a fail. That's because we forgot to do something. Remember when we added the callback function with the API folder? I don't think we ever added the API folder, by the way. So let's head over and add it. If you go here, again, their docs are mwah. You can go over here to the integrations, Astro. This is what we need right here. The Pages API OAuth all, right? So we need to create this and then paste this little code in there. So let's grab that, pop it back in here. So let's head here, open up the side panel. Again, let's double check OAuth all TS, right? So pages, let's say API / OAuth / all dot with the spread operator here, .ts, right? Is that right? Yeah, that looks good to me. So let's go here, pop that sucker in there, hit save. You might just need to replace here the path because that might not be correct. So OAuth / sorry, where is this? Let's head up a level. There we go, lib OAuth. Okay, so that's good. And you can also add the middleware here as well, just like this. All right, so it just loads it so you can access it from every page. So let's get this as well. Sorry, this is the types here. So we can also pass this down. Let's copy this here in the env DTS. Whoa, that's crazy. Let's just go here. Could you not do that, please? There we go. Let's pass that down. Okay, and then we can remove this top bit here. Okay, there we go. So that just passes down the types for the user and session as well. And then you can do middleware here as well. So that would be here, middleware.ts. And in here, as you can see, on every request, you can pass down. And this is cool because you will be able to access this in server actions and some other cool stuff. So you can actually pull the context out from there. So we need to add the middleware as well. So please do that. And of course, the API here. Otherwise, this is not going to work. So / here, where are we going? Where are we headed? Rusted Neverland. Oops, and my apologies, this middleware actually needs to live not here, instead in your source folder. So make sure you add it there, middleware.ts. Okay, let's make sure it's there. Cool. Okay, so that should work now as well. Okay, so let's run a restart on this and give it another go. Head back here. Let's see, reload it, sign in with GitHub. Would you look at that? Astro authorizes it. Hopefully we'll make our way back. And there we go. We got the profile picture going. Let's go. Okay, we just need to make this a tad bit prettier, eh? We can also check our Neon database here. So if we refresh, you're going to see that we actually saved a new bloody user. Congratulations, we did it. Okay, so let's style this up a bit. Let's head back here to our code. Let's go into the nav. There we go, and let's just find our image. So here, as you can see, we got our image, and here we can go and do a class name, set that equal to, we can just do normal quotation marks here, just like a width of 10, height of 10, right? Something small, rounded of full. I think that'll get rid of the white background as well. There we go, look at that, that looks so nice. And then we can click here and it's gonna take us to the dashboard. We don't have that, but that's fine. Stay small. Why did you go big again? Okay, good. There we go. Sign out. Let's try that as well. Boom. Look at that. That is smooth writing. Okay, for the next part, we're just gonna hook up all the necessary tables we need in our schemas and all the relationships we need, just so we can start adding data and just kind of working with it already, just so we don't have to worry about it. So let's head back to our schema. So what we want is we have the users, right? But I want the users to be able to make some posts, and those posts also have comments and likes. So initially I named this user image, so I'm gonna just stick it with that, but this is our post, right? This can be a video as well, but I just named it user image. So it has an ID on it, which is a primary key. It takes in the user ID, which is a foreign key because it's going to be attached to a user. So it's just going to reference the user ID. It has a format, yeah. By default, I'm going to put it as JPEG, but just in case they upload, PNG or they do an MP4, we'll still support that. Then the URL, which shouldn't be null, that's going to be a reference. And a description, which is optional, visibility here. So I added the Boolean here with a default of false, just so we can publicly expose our post or not. And then updated and created that. So just as simple as that. Next up, another table that we're going to use is an image like. So again, an ID, it has a user ID this time as a foreign key and an image ID. All right, so references this as well. So every image can have a like. And yeah, so now that we need to set up the relationships as well. But before we do that, let's also add a comment, right? So the user image can have a like and also a comment. So again, that's pretty much going to be identical to the image like, where it has an ID, user image, image ID, has a content as well, I guess the content of the comments, and then the create to that, right? And now let me show you the relations as well. So the user is going to have the following relations. We'll also need to import this. There we go. So every user is going to have many different images that they can post, right? So many user images can have many likes and also many comments. All right. So that's pretty straightforward, right? The user can do many comments, many likes, and many posts. Now, the like table is going to have the relationships a tad bit different. So let me paste that in here, right? So a like can only belong to one image, right? So we're passing one here, and it's going to reference the image like image ID here. All right, that references the user image ID. And it can also have one user, right? So a like belongs to one user and one post. Now the actual post, I'll put this up here. It's going to be a bit different, right? A post can have one user, so we're past one, but a post can have many likes and many comments. So that's why we're passing that down like that. And that's it, right? Oh, I guess we have another relation, which is the comments, right? So for the comments here, basically, again, a comment can belong to one user and to one image. So we'll just pass that down, or one post, you could say. And that's it. That's all the relations that you need. Now, again, you don't explicitly need to define these here for it to work. This is more on an application level in Drizzle. So you have the nice autocomplete with the API. Normally, you're fine with just adding the foreign keys, right? That's going to work just fine. But now you'll have the nice auto-completion stuff here. And it's a bit more, I guess, clear of what's going on with your schema. Okay, so there we go. That's all we need here. So we can head back and do npm run generate and npm run push. And now we should see it if we head back to our DB, then we'll have all the other tables popping up. It didn't work. Give me the new tables. Come on, let's go. There we go. Lovely. Look at that. We have everything ready to go. We can start creating our dashboard, right? When we click here on our profile, we basically want to go to the dashboard where we can upload different posts and also display something nice, right? So we don't have that page yet. So let's head back here. Let's open this up. We'll do space E to open up the sidebar here. So here for the pages, right, we want to make a new one called this dashboard.astro, and that's automatically going to recognize it for us, which is super cool. So just defining that is going to give us a good start. Okay, so here I want to do the layout first. Let's get this in because I actually want to render out the navbar here as well, right? We want to render it out across all the pages. And here at the top, we can define our front matter again like that. And here we can do all the imports. So I'm going to do we'll get the DB in here. We'll need this. We'll do the layout, right? So let's do layout. It's not recognizing it. We'll do manually. Layouts. There we go. That's the main one we need. And then let's import our upload widget. So how cool is this? Look, it's going to be super simple. Upload widget from, let's do Astro Cloudinary like that. There we go. And then we'll also need, we'll probably install Lucid React as well for some icons. Yeah, let's do that quickly. We'll do npm I Lucid React. Let's go back here, and I'll do an image here. So a cloud upload. And let's do it from Lucid React. All right, let's just find it in a second. Cool. Okay, so here we'll have our main tag. Just pop that open. So let's just render maybe like the current user. So how would you do that? Now that we added the Astro middleware here, remember we defined this here, middleware, right? We're catching the user per every request. So it's super easy that you can pull it out just like this. If you go here, you can say const current user is equal to Astro locals dot user like that, right? Super easy. And then here we can render the user out. So we can say, we'll have a section here. Open this up, add some class to it. We'll say flex call, item center with a gap of 2. Let's pop the image in. The source for this is going to be the current user dot image, like that. If it's possibly null, that's fine. You can catch it on in the middleware if you want to redirect, or you can do it up here as well if you want to do that. It's a big boy text. And then the colors, this is coming from Daisy UI. So they have a text-based content, and then you can mess around with the brightness as well if you want to make it brighter. That's pretty much going to give you white, but let's just do it their way. There we go. So we'll have a H1 there that says your dashboard. And right below that, let's also add like a P tag and say view, delete, and check your liked posts, something like that. And then we'll, yeah, let's do 2XL. Oh, it keeps doing this. See where it adds it in parentheses? I need to change that because I don't like that. And you know what? Another thing that I need to switch in NeoVim is the autocomplete here gives me a snippet. Look, test equals, see how it gives me a snippet? But that snippet is always useless. Always used, like, when would I need this? Well, here, test with a curly bracket 1. No, thank you. I'll need to remove that. Okay, anyway. I need to do my custom config. I'm still an Astro Envim. But anyway, let's go down here and then we'll do a button here. CLD upload widget, right? Or upload button. So this is going to be super duper simple. It's going to take in an upload preset and it's going to take in a signature endpoint. Okay. So with the signature endpoint, you can get that pre-assigned URL that's just ready to go. And the upload preset, we need to do it through Cloudinary. So let's do that quickly. I'll show you where you can get all the EMV, you know, all the secrets that you need to set up and everything like that. It's super, super simple. So let's head over to Cloudinary. Look how nice the integration is with Astro. I really want to show this off because it's super cool. So let's go in here. It's Cloudinary is just a fantastic choice for ease. You know, if you really need a place to like easily upload images, it's great. So you make the account, you know, do all of that jazz. And then if we head over here to the console, so here's what you need, okay? You'll need the Cloudinary name. All right, so I have that as restyled. So if I go to my EMV, let's just kind of backtrack here a little bit. You can do Shift-H here to view your hidden files if you're working in NeoVim, by the way. Okay, so you'll need a public, 3 things we need. Public, Cloudinary, cloud name is how I named it. And then public, Cloudinary, API key. And then a Cloudinary, don't have public to this, so we keep it secret, because these are exposed if you have public. Secret, right? All right, that's all you need. Now where you can get this. The Cloudinary name is going to be this up here. Okay. And then you can go to the API keys here. And you want to make a new one, right? I'm not going to do that. I'll probably need to do that. Okay, so I made a new one, and look, see, you have the API key and the API secret as well. And then you can give it a name, right? So here, like that. I'm going to be using this one. It's the same, it's just I named it Astro, okay? So there we go. So make sure you get these in there. Now, after you added all of that, we need one more thing, which is going to be our API endpoint that's going to verify that. And it's also going to return us with either like the secure URL or the public ID, whatever we want to return. So I'll just go here to the side and we're going to head over to our API, right? So API here, I'm going to create a new one called signed.ts. Okay, so let's head in here. And what we'll need to do is import API route from Astro. We'll import Cloudinary as well. And here what we'll do is we'll configure our Cloudinary with the public ID, right? The cloud name, the API secret, and the other one, right? And then down here, you can go down here. We'll say export const. This is going to be a post request, right? There we go. This is going to be an API route here. It's going to be an async. Here we'll have the request. Let's run this. And then we can get the body here. So await request.body. Sorry, we'll do JSON, not body. What am I doing? There we go. And then here you can extract the params to sign from the body. And then we can get the signature. You can do cloudinary.utils API sign request. It's already made for you. And you can just pass in the params to sign. And you need the secret here as well. So import meta env cloudinary API secret. That's it. We done so. You can return response.json and pass in the signature, and that's it. We are good to go. So now in our dashboard here, we just need to pass down that API endpoint. Okay, so let's go here. /API/sign. Lovely. And the upload preset is going to be Astro, right? That's what we named it. And one more thing, I'm going to just pass in an ID here, upload events, all right? Because we'll need to capture that like image upload somehow when it's successful and then do something, right? So let's just pass upload events there like that. Okay, lovely. So this little widget here, little widget guy, is going to take in a button as kind of a child component here. So let's do the button here. And this is the actual thing that's going to say like, hey, upload something, right? So I'm going to add a class name or class button. Ooh, that's annoying how it does that, isn't it? Button accent. There we go. And let's open this up. I'll do a div in here. Add a class of flex with a, let's do an item center gap too, right? To separate this. I'll just have the actual text. So like P upload, and then we'll do an icon here. Let's do the cloud upload icon. We'll do a size of, I don't know, let's try 24. Will that look good? We can close out of this now. We don't need that. You can head back here. Oh, let's run back our dev server. Is that not running? Let's make sure it's back on. Okay, cool. So we head back here, do a refresh, click on that. It should, look at that. We got a cool dashboard going on now. All right, so let's give this a shot. If we upload here, browse, let's upload the cat. There we go. Hit done. Did that work? We can verify. Let's go to Cloudinary. Let's head to assets, and look at that. The cat is in. Good job. So now all we need to do is a way to kind of save it in the database, right? And for us to have control over it. So I'll just make a script file here, and we're going to run an action, kind of like a server action, how Next.js has it. So we need to capture the event. So this is how they recommend you do it. So we'll do const widget. We'll just capture that. We'll say document dot query selector. And let's just get that upload events, right? So we'll capture that there. And if we have this widget, right? So if the widget is available, then let's do a widget.add event listener. We'll run a special one, CLD upload widget success, like that. And this is gonna run an async function here for us, pass down E. So here what we can do is extract anything that we need from that event. So I'm gonna say image. It's not gonna be an URL, it's gonna be like the public ID. So I'm gonna say public ID. Let's just name the image URL because it's like, it'll be easier to work with. So this is coming from edetail info.public ID. All right, if you console log this out, you're gonna see that it comes from there, okay? I'll pass down a string. Not sure why this event is not getting typed here. I'll just do a TS ignore for this, it's fine. Okay, so that's one. And then I also wanna get the format here, and that comes from edetail info format. Okay, there we go. Again, I'll look into the type here for this. I'm not really sure how to get in, but we'll just grab it like that. So this is gonna be super cool. Check this out. Let's open up the side tab. Let's go in our source here. We're making a new folder, call it actions, like that. Index.ts, right? Now I actually want to install one more package here. So I'll do npm I, and we'll do at parallel drive CUID to generate an ID for us. So I like to use this package here. Let's install that. Parallel drive CUID. Okay, cool. And then let's head back here. So we'll import a couple of things that create ID from CUID. And then I'll do an Astro schema here as well. So this is how you work with the, I'll show you how you can work with the actions here. It's super cool. We'll need to define the actions here as well. So Astro actions. And I believe that should be all right. I need the DB and then some of my schemas as well. So I'll just pass that down there. Okay, so check this out. Export const, you can define a server like that. And then here you can define any action that you want. So let's start with, which one do we want? Add image, right? So let's do add image. We can define an action here on it. And this is gonna have an input. And then you can just pass in a Zot schema here. So I can say Z object. This is gonna have a public ID, right? Now let's also do a format here. Now after this here, we can define our handler as well. So handler, gonna be an async function. There we go. Let's open this up. And here, again, if I want to, I can have access to the user. So here in the parentheses, as you can see, we have access for the ID, the public ID, and the format. But since we added that middleware, I also have access to the context here like that. So I can say something like current user is equal to context.locals.user ID. And if it's not, then I can handle the errors here, right? So if there's no current user, I can just stop this action from running. Throw new error, no user found, right? So there we go. So how cool is that? You can just use the action with the middleware together here to authenticate the user or authorizer, whichever way you want to put it. Okay, so anyway, after you do that, right, you can do your try catch here. So try catch error. There we go. And then the try here, we can say const new image await db dot insert, right? And we want to insert in the user image table. So we'll pass that down, and the values that we want, let's expand that. The URL here is going to be the public ID, and then the ID, and then we can do the user ID we need to pass down as well, which is the current user. So we can just do that. And that's it, right? That's it. And then here we can also do like returning if you want to capture this. returning like that, and then you can return this to the front as well. So you can do return with a success of true, and then you can say the image that returned was the new image. It adds it in an array, so you need to get the first one like that, and I can get the URL. That's all I really need, right? And then here for the catch the error, you can do something like return success false and then an error message, okay? Something like that. I don't need this line either. There we go. So something like that. Cool. Now that's that defined. We can just head back to the dashboard and grab that here. Okay, now let's import the Astro actions here at the top, and then we can use it. So we can do something like this. I'm not sure why it's giving me a type error now. It didn't before. Maybe it's just my LSP that needs to be restarted. But we can extract the data and the error here, and we can say await actions.add image. We can use that and pass in the ID. Which, to be fair, we don't even need. I can just do format and the public ID that I can pass down, which is the image URL, right? And I can just generate the ID in the server action itself. So if we head over here, let me just restart my my thingy here. We'll do actions. Here we go. So rather than also passing in the ID here, let's just get rid of that like that. And then we can get rid of the ID here, right? There we go. So the ID here, I'm just gonna generate this now, create ID like that. All right, since we already have it imported from parallel drive here, and that should work fine. So let's go back to our dashboard now. And there we go. Now see, it is, okay, never mind. It still does that for some reason. But does the autocomplete work here? Why did this break? That's so strange. Oh, see, it's like a bloody thingy. Anyway, it should work fine. So don't worry about it. Okay, so now we're catching the error there. So here what we can do is do a refresh. So after this, if there's an error, we can console log it. If there is data, let's just refresh the dashboard for us. Okay? And hopefully it works. Hopefully it saves it. So let's give that a go. Let's head back here. Let's run back the dev server. All right, let's hit upload. Okay, let's give it a go with this image. Hit done. And let's have a look now. If we head over to our database and do a refresh, look at that. We got a user image here right after we uploaded a file. Lovely. So now we also want to display this here, right? Really nicely in a couple of cards. But the posts will also be displayed not only here, but also on the front page here for everyone else to see. All right, so let's start hooking that up as well. Okay, let's start displaying our posts. So we're gonna create a new component. We'll head over here and call this, I'll call it post. I'm gonna make this an Astro file, okay? There we go, post.astro. So let's go here. We'll have our front matter at the top. All right, because I also want to show you how you can pass down props to Astro files. Using React, you know how to do that. It's super simple. But I want to show you how you can do it with the files, Astro files. So we have a div here. Let's add a class to this. We'll do a class of card. This is going to come from Daisy UI. We'll do a padding of 8. We'll do a BG base of 300 as well. And then in here, we'll have like the user image and their name for like who posted this. So we'll do a flex item center. I definitely need to change this, how it completes it there. It always does it after, and that's a bit annoying. PV4. Okay, so here, basically I want to do the user image again. So this is gonna look like this. I'll copy this over. So I'll have two things. Okay, it's gonna be an image here. And that image is going to be the image user image, right? And the class of avatar, and then an A tag here, which is going to take you to the profile / image user ID. And then you can display the username here. Okay, but we're never passing this down yet. So just thought I'd let you know. And then one more thing that we need here is going to be, I want to pass down the date. When was this post made? So I'm going to do a p of class and pass in a new date here with the image. And then 2 locale string, of course. Okay, so how can we get this sucker in here? Well, let's head back over to our dashboard, right? Basically, this is where we want to output it. So let's just make a new section here, right? So we can go here, all section, okay. We'll add a class, call it card, do a h2, we'll say my posts. Just a bit of styling on this, nothing crazy. Padding bottom, just make the text bigger. Okay, now here we want to do the loop-de-loop, right? So I'll make a div, and I want to put these basically in a grid, right? So we'll do a class of grid. Let's say grid calls, it should be 1 on mobile, but if we get to large screen, let's do grid calls of 3, right? And a bit of gap as well. Okay, so here we'll say if images.length, and we don't have images, right? So how can we get the bloody images in an Astro file? Well, we can go here to the top and do it in the front matter. So check this out. It's gonna be pretty cool because it const images or posts or whatever. Await DB. Get the DB in. We can query. And then here we'll say query the user images. Find all of them, find many of them. Where, and then here we can do an EQ, we can import that. So if the user image dot, what is it? The user image user ID, right? Matches the current user ID. Then this basically gives you all the posts from the current user that's logged in, right? That's what we want. Then that's great. Then we can return it, right? And then here we can also say with, right? And we can, this is the magic of you adding the relations there in the schema. You can just say, hey, give me with the likes, give me the user as well here, and give me all the comments as well. So it's true, 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 right? LSP timeout, thank you. Very nice, very nice. But there we go. So you're getting back the image. You get the likes on it, you get the user on it, and all the comments on it as well. That's that, folks. That's all we need. So now we can go down here, right? Where is it? Here, right? And we can do the loop-de-loop like we did. So we can say, hey, images, the length triple equals 0. What does that mean, I wonder? Hey, I know. Maybe we don't have any posts. Or otherwise, we can map over, right? So you can do something like that as well. Like otherwise map. Images map, right? You have the individual image here, or it's called post, right? And then we can do a post. Let's just pass in, let's call it image data. Pass in the post. And then we can also do a current user as well, because I want to be able to track somehow like, hey, has the current user liked this post? You know, then I want to display that it's liked and stuff like that, right? So we need a current user here as well. All right, so this is everything you need. You need the image data and you need the current user for this post. What's not working? Is this post not getting imported? That must be it. I don't want the snippet, I just want the post. That's imported at the top, gang. Let's go up here. There we go. You happy now? And now guess what? Now we can go here and just use it in our props. Now how can you do that? Let's check this out. That's a sweet. Const current user equals from Astro props. GG's, how nice is that? And then we can also get the, what's it called? The image data, right? I'm just gonna rename it as image, so it's all done for us, so we don't need to replace anything else. So let's have a look, see if this works now. And look at that, look, we have the post with the user, right? And we have the date there as well. Super cool. Okay, now that we have that, we can output more details here. So after this first div, I'll make another one. This is going to contain the actual post, right? So I'll do a class. Not like that. That's not how I want it. We'll do a hfull bg. Let's do a bg of base 200. I have a group here and a flex and a relative. Now, why am I doing that? Because I want to do some magic, some cool hovering magic that you're going to see in just a second. But for now, we'll just output the Cloudinary image here. But I'm going to do it in a special way. I'm going to say image, because we're going to, look, we don't have the autocomplete here on it as well, which is super duper annoying, right? We want the autocomplete. Okay, well, let's have a track back and see how we can do that. Say type props, and I do want to name this props because it'll automatically work after. We want the current user here, so the types for this is a user, like that, right? So we can just import that. All right, or it doesn't exist, or null. And then we got the image data as well, right? So here's where we actually need this relation that we set up with the infer. Remember how we set up this file? Let me just show it to you really quickly. In our lib, infer type, right? We did this. So we gotta head back here and do this. So check this out. Export type. I'm gonna name this type image post, like that. I'm gonna say infer result type, and the generic here I'm gonna pass in is gonna be user image here, like that, comma, and check this out. I can see user here, true, likes, true, and comments, true, right? How we had it there. And now this T image post, if I do Shift K on it, you can see it also holds all the different relations now, which is fantastic, okay? So now I can just pass down the image data, because here, right, we fetched it with everything else. And otherwise it's gonna give you a type error, right? Because it's gonna say, well, this doesn't have a comment on it, right? So now here, fantastic, we can just say T image. Would you just auto import it for me, please? There we go, Astro T image post. Let's import that. And cool. So now here we can also add the Astro client directives as well as the interface. We'll need that as well. And done. All right, so this should be all typed now, which is super cool. So if we head here, we'll do like image dot, see? There we go. So you just need the type of props here in your front matter, and then you are good to go. Okay. So here I'm gonna do a little magic, something like this. Look, we're gonna go here and say image format. Whoops, let me just copy this. We're gonna do magic here. We're gonna say if image format is MP4, I'm gonna output a video instead. And this is gonna have a class of preview here with a height and a width of full. We'll need the source here, which I'll pass down in just a second. Otherwise, we're gonna render out this Cloudinary image, all right? So this is optimized where you can just pass in the public ID and it'll do everything else for you magically, which is fantastic. That's what we want, okay? And that's pretty much it. So this cloud image URL here, this is a little util that they have, which we can just import. There we go, from our helpers here in Cloudinary. And that's it, all right? So you just pass that down. Let's get this component in as well that they have. And boom, donezo. Now the source here, basically what I want to do is Cloudinary has this, there we go, look at that. It already pops up for us. That's nice. Cloudinary has this cool feature, video preview. Let me just search this up. So it intelligently uses AI to get maybe the best moments from the video and do a little, kind of like a little preview of that. So I want to render that out here on the post page. So when we hover over this, if it's a video, it'll show the best part of it. And then you can click on it to view the full video. All right, so we're going to use a little magic here. And it's super simple. You just need to add this ePreview here to the URL. But since we're working with their components and everything, it'll be super easy to do this. So check this out. We can go here at the top. We can say something like Cloudinary video source, Cloudinary video. Let's do preview like that, okay? Then we can say get Cloudinary video URL. We can import that. And here you just need to pass in the source. So it's going to be the same source image URL like that. And then here we can apply a raw transformation. So this will just like magically add the ePreview there in the correct place. All right, so you don't need to worry about it. And that's it. Like that's all you need to do. Image, and there we go. That's going to use AI, and it's going to generate a nice little preview of that video, which I'll show you in just a second. But there we go. So if they upload the video, then put the video preview here instead. So Cloudinary, what am I doing? Let's navigate like that, right? I know I'm not too fast with NeoVim, by the way. I'm learning the ropes. Hopefully we'll get there. So that's pretty much it. Now, why did I add this relative here, right? Because we want to preview the posts when we hover over them. So essentially what I want to do is add an overlay on this. And when we hover over it, also show up like with a little button. So this is a really nice way you can do this here, right? We essentially, what we want to do is create another div. I'll copy this over because it's a lot of it's a lot of classes, right? So here, check this out. A little magic trick you can do. Just add relative to the parent div, absolute, left 0, put the height full, width full, right? BG black, add a Z index on it. So we'll do 10. Opacity, set that to 0. But check this out. I also added an array hidden here because we don't really need to know about this. You can add a group on the parent, right? Group, and then here, when we hover over the group, so when we hover over this parent div, we can control the opacity of this inner one, which is super cool because this can have a pointer event of none and not be touchable at all. It's off the table. The police told me not to touch it, but we can still control it with the upper div here, which is super cool. So we're adding a opacity of 60 to that, or we can do 50 if we want something a bit 40 maybe, something a bit more subtle, you know? And then we can do an A tag as well. Just position the absolute right here below it. And all you need to do is add a half of it, right? So half of top, half of left, and then translate it by half. And then you can do the same with the opacity, right? Where we set it by default to 0, bring it up to 100, and then you can do a transformation, transform, and then a big text, right? A big color on it, and that's it. And the href for this is essentially going to take you to /post/image_id, which we don't have, but that's okay. We'll create it. That's it. Okay? So there we go. If you add these two, you're going to get this effect, right? Where you hover over it, then boom, you get this nice little view posts available. Now, if it's a video, it's a bit more interesting. So let's do that. So this video here that I'm going to upload is about 19 seconds long. So let's upload that. There we go. Now that I checked the database, it looks like we're saving it as a JPEG for some reason. So that's not what we want to do, right? We want to make sure that this is recognized as an MP4. So something clearly went wrong here and it saved it like that. So let's just have a quick look and see if we can figure it out. So it looks like we're passing the format down here in the add image. Let's go to the definition and have a look here. Are we not using it? Oh, look, we're not. Here we go. Let's pass it down. Format like that. All right, make sure that's in there. Otherwise, you're going to have this problem, right? Okay, so which one is it? Let's see, create that. Let's see which one's the this one, right? This is our video here. So let's delete it and try that again. Delete. Go back here, do a refresh. Cool. Upload. Let's do that video again. And there we go. If we refresh the page now, you should see it pop up right there. Awesome. One more thing, maybe we can like center this so it doesn't look, it just looks a bit weird, right? It's kind of to the side here. So there we go. I just added an item center here to the upper div just so it's kind of sitting nicely in the middle there. There we go. So that looks good. But what I want to do is on hover, right? I want to start playing this. So we can do a little script tag here, old school, right? We're going to do a little iffy. Remember those? So check this out. Let's do a script tag here at the bottom. And again, we're going to do a function that's going to invoke itself. So we're going to say function in parentheses like that, and then open this up like that, right? And here at the end, remember, you can just self-invoke it like that. Boom. Cool. So let's expand this because this is only going to run one thing. And if it's a video, so it's going to just check exclusively for videos. It's going to say document, query selector, and it's going to have a look to see if it has a video preview like that on it. Now, I'm not sure if we put this on, so let's double check. We did. Okay, so the video has a video preview class on top of it. And if it does, then that means good things, because here we can select all of them with query selector all. And this, what type is this as well? If you want to add a type, as you can do as a node list of, because it is a node list, because we're doing query selector all, and then as a generic, you can pass down the HTML video elements like that. Cool, and now you have it nicely typed. Okay, so now you can do, if there's no videos, then do nothing, right? Just return this function. Otherwise, here what we can do is say video for each video. Let's open this up. We can add event listener. And I basically want to add 3 here. Let me kind of guide you through all of these. So it's going to have a video event listener ended, which is going to reset the current time back to 0 and play it. When we have our mouse over, it's just going to play the video. And when we have the mouse out, it's just going to pause. Okay? But when it gets to the end, it's going to replay it, which is what we want here. So now you get this nice preview when you hover over, and let's save this. So now check this out. When I hover over this, look at that. It's going to replay the most interesting part of the video. That's pretty cool, right? And then it just restarts with the best bit. And then when we do view post here, we'll just play the full video without DE transformation on it. But that's pretty cool. I thought I kind of like that little feature there. Okay, let's create a couple more components down here at the bottom to have the ability to like an image, the ability to write a comment, right? And all the other good jazz. Okay, so let's start with, we'll do the hearts like. All right, that's gonna be the first one. So I'll just do it here. Create a component hearts like dot psx. Let's open this up, close this up. A couple of things we'll need: the post, the client directives. I'll get a heart icon here from Lucid React, so I'll import that. We'll get our actions in as well. We'll get the use state in and the user as well. I'll define those types here again, like this. We could have like exported it, to be fair. I'll just pop it in here like that. Right, so against the current user, image data, same as we did before, pretty much. Okay, so let's define this component. Export default function heart like. How is this gonna look like? It's gonna have an image data, right, and the current user here, which we're gonna pass down image post props. Fancy. All right, so let's get the likes here as well, because we're gonna do some optimistic updates. So we'll just save it here in the state. So I can pass down the image data likes like that in my state. Okay, then we'll have a handler here, handle like. It's gonna be an async function here that we're gonna do something with. Let's leave that there. And then here we're gonna return. All right, we'll do a div. Let me just copy the styles over so you can see. It's not gonna be anything too crazy. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna have the heart icon here from Lucid. And then check out, this is the important bit here. All right, you can ignore this. This doesn't really matter. This is the bit. The heart, we're gonna have the handle like here, right? This function here. But more importantly, we're going through the likes here and checking if the user ID matches the current user that's viewing this post. Because if it is, then that like should be red, right? So we gotta make sure we have this in here. Otherwise, it would look like we haven't liked this post. So make sure you check that the like user ID matches the current user ID. Okay, did you check that? Good job. Okay, so now in the function here, super simple. This is not gonna be hard stuff, guys. We're gonna say, well, if there's no current user, then you shouldn't be able to like this. You can, again, put like a custom toast, custom error message here. You can handle it any way you like. I'm just gonna return it. So here, we're gonna check if it's already liked as well. So you can do likes, some, you can get the like here and pretty much check the same way, right? Like user ID, triple equals to the current user ID. All right, so that's how you can check that. And let's do an optimistic here. Optimistic like. So that's gonna be already liked. We're gonna check there and see, we're gonna filter out the likes. And here we'll have the like. So we can check if the user ID does not equal to the current user ID. Okay. Now, wait. So we'll check that. Otherwise, what we can do is just spread all the likes, and then we'll add our optimistic like here, right? So we can do user ID is gonna be the current user.id. All right, this is what we add to the array. And then the image ID, which is image data.id. There we go, cool, nice. All right, so we're pushing this one in, right? And we're pushing in temporarily, and then we're gonna sync it with the server. So at the end here, right, after we do this, we can set the likes over to the optimistic update like, right? Like that. All right, so that we're doing this instantly. We're pushing that in. The current user, right? If it's not there, push it in. And then we can do our little try catch here. This is gonna throw an error here because it's like, well, you didn't pass in the created at and the updated at and everything else that the set likes needs, which is fine. Like, we don't really care to pass it down because we just want this to be temporary, right? For it to appear in the UI. So you could pass those down as well. I'm just gonna add the TS ignore because I know what this is about, and I know it's, yeah, this is just temporary. And then here we can do a try catch, right? So try catch, and we can pass in an error. Okay, so we'll need another action, right? So how would you handle this? So we'll create another one called like image here. So let's go back to our actions. So let me just grab this like image here. I'll put it here, and like I'll kind of guide you through the code because it's quite a bit to write. Let me just import this and function as well from Drizzle ORM. And the EQ, I guess we haven't imported here, so let me pop that in as well. Okay, so check this out. So just make a new one. We'll call it like image. We define an action again. It's only gonna need the image ID here for us. Again, you can pull out the context from the user like that, throw an error if there's no user. And then here we're just checking the DB. So we're checking DB query image like, find first, and we're doing 2 EQ checks here, right? So you can do an AND to do 2 equality checks. First, you check if the image like the user ID matches the current user, right? You want to make sure that's right. And also the image like image ID matches the image ID that you're passing down. If there's an existing like, again, you can delete it like that, where it matches the user ID current user, and same for the image ID. And you can return deleted like. Otherwise, here we can do an else statement. We can just pop in that new like, right? So let's create an ID for it. The user ID is going to be the current user, and we already got the image ID there. And that's it. Like that's pretty much everything you need to do with it. Okay, so yeah, we can try to run it now. Again, I'm not sure what's wrong with my LSP today. E, right? That's why you need to restart it, or you can do E question mark. But for some reason, with Astro, it just doesn't work. Let's see. Look, it's not gonna work. I promise you. Wait, actions. Oh, look, it did work. Okay, like image. Okay, it did recognize it. So it takes in the image ID. So image data, we already have this ID, right? There. Cool. Okay. And then we can do our catches here, right? So we can do something like this. If we have an error, I'm gonna set the likes back over to the image data likes, right? We're reverting back to our state that we had before. All right, this is where the image, this is where the optimistic updates come in. Otherwise here, if the data.success, I'm gonna update the likes. So I'm gonna go through the already liked, filter out the user ID, current user ID, and just return the likes with the data.success, which actually holds everything, right? The created ad dates and all the other bits. So there we go. That's when the server actually syncs in with your front end, which is really cool. And then here where we catch the error, what I can do is set the likes over to what we had before. Again, set likes, image data likes. All right, that's it. We have that hooked up, believe it or not, and it's gonna look really cool. Okay, so you can head back to the post now, and we can do it, I don't know, let's do it somewhere here. We'll need to import that heart like. Let's do that. Do you need a TSX extension here? Let's try it. I'll try it without it. Let's go down here. I'll just make a div custom for this because we'll have a couple of buttons going here. Okay, so I'll just make a div here where we'll have all the different buttons for it. So I'll add the class to this. We'll make it a bit nice. We'll say class flex with items center gap of 6 PT4. You'll see what this is. It'll just like have a little sidebar at the bottom there to hold all this. So heart like. We'll see if this works, guys. We'll do a client on this client. Let's do on load. We'll need the image data as well, right? Is equal to image, and the current user, we have that as well. It's current user. So everything should be fine here. We can just pass everything down like that. Okay, let's see. I see the like button there, but it shouldn't be there. Let's just take this out. We'll put it below here. Sorry, there. There we go. So it's on the bottom. Okay, so we can just put all the buttons there. So let's see. Like, and look how it instantly updates. And then it does the magic in the back, right? And we'll like sync with the background. So look, if I show you this quickly. Click. See, watch the server update. Click. I didn't do it. Click. See, the server update like half a second later after. So that's how we're doing the optimistic update. It puts it to 1 and then it filters it out. It syncs it. It checks the user current ID. And then it just adds the additional properties on top of it. So there we go. Look at that. You got a like system going. How cool is that? Okay, cool. So what else I want to do, since we're in here in the post, it'd be pretty cool to also output my posts, but also my liked posts as well. This is gonna be pretty much almost the same. So I'm gonna copy this over, paste that in. All right, it's still gonna have a class of card, PY4, all that jazz. I'm just gonna change this to my liked posts. There we go. You have no liked posts. We'll add here. Why is that not working? Liked posts. And here, so this can stay the same. Post, blah, blah, blah. It's just the way we're going to format this is going to be a tad bit different because I don't want to check the length here of the images. Instead, I want to check the length of how many likes this post has, which is totally different, right? So we'll need to kind of make our own. What's going on here? Why does that look so ugly? So I never really had any problems with this other than with Astro, where I just struggled to get my nvim config set up correctly for some reason. But it is what it is. We commit and now. Look, it's fine now. Like, what? Dashboard. Are you fine now? You are fine. I'm so happy you're doing well. Okay, so we'll need to get the likes back, right? We don't care about the images anymore. So we can say const likes. DB query image like, right? We just want the image likes. Find many, and we just need to match, right, the actual image ID. So we can say image like dot user ID. There we go. And then here we can say current user dot ID. So basically get me back all the images that this user liked. And then here we can say with the user. So let's get back the user. Does that one work? Yeah, with user true. Right, so we have all the details. And on the image as well. So I also want to see you'll see this, okay? So with image here, and we can see likes true again, user true, comments true. Why do we do this? Okay, so essentially what I want to do, right? Because if you get the likes here, it's just going to give you the like. It's not going to give you any relation. But I want to see who liked this. So I'm getting with user true. So I can go on the like, and I can check the user and their image, their name, whatever. Now the like, I also want to get back the image. So I can see the picture of the like. I can see details about the like, whatever. And here, I can also get the user here, right? So this user is the post user, okay? So I hope that's clear. Okay, so let's go down here. Now here, instead of images, I'll say likes instead. So likes.length equals 0, then we have no likes. Otherwise, if I do likes here like that, the formatting is not going to be correct, right? Because it's a bit different how we're fetching it here compared to how we fetched it in the images. So we can format it to be the same, all right? We're basically kind of reformatting the likes to match the data structure of the image. Okay, so I can say formatted likes. It's going to be super easy. So likes.map, right? We map over each like here. And I'm just going to return the like.image like that, right? Because that's what we're fetching here, the image, user image. And then I can pass in the user. So I can say like.image user. The likes. So that's going to be like.image likes. And that's it, right? So that should be the correct format now. So instead of likes map here, I can say formatted likes. There we go. See? Boom. Look, you don't have any problems anymore. And then you can leave everything the same way. And then look at that. You have a like image right there. Nice. So I can like this. As you can see, it's not popping up because I'm not refreshing anything or doing anything. But if I refresh the page, look at that. It pops up there. Cool. So let's try to unlike it from here now. And that still works just fine. So refresh. Boom. Look, gone. How nice is that? Pretty cool, hey? Okay. So now that we're done with that, we can start hooking up, making these posts either public or private. Okay, let's see how we can make this either public or private. It's going to be super simple. Again, we'll just need a new component here in our post, right? So if we head over here, here is where we need to add it, right? And a heart like. So let's make one quickly. We'll call this visibility. Is that misspelled? Hopefully not. Okay. Again, kind of the same things. I'll just import it here so you can see pretty much everything we had before. From Lucid React, I'm importing the I and the I off. That's pretty cool. So you can just toggle those two. And then, yeah, let's type this out. So export default function visibility. This is gonna be almost identical to what we did with the like. So image post props, you can pass that down. Open this up. Okay, so let's return here. I'll show you what we're gonna return. There we go. We'll do a div, separate it a bit by 2. And then we'll do a little state here as well. So we're gonna say is visible and set is visible like that. So by default, I'm just gonna check the image data visibility. So we can pretty much pull that in. And then we can also create this handler as well. So let's create that. Let's go here. And we're going to call it const handle toggle visibility like that. Just an async function. Again, we're going to check if there's no current user. And we'll just return. Otherwise, we're going to do the optimistic stuff again, right? So the optimistic update here, I'll call it optimistic visibility. It's just going to be the reverse of it. And then we're going to set it instantly, right? So the UI updates. And then I'll just copy paste this over because it's pretty much the same where we need to create an action, right? And just toggle that. So it's going to look like this. We're extracting the data and error from actions toggle visibility. If there's an error, set the toggle visibility to what it was before. Otherwise, update it to the new one, right? Which is going to come from image data, data.visibility, right? If it's success, right? We'll just pass that down from the server action back. Okay, so we'll need to create this again. So we can head over to actions. Again, I'll put it here at the bottom. It's gonna be super simple. Again, all we need to do here is just update that specific property on our table. So here we go. Toggle visibility is just gonna take in the image ID again. Again, throw an error if there's no existing user. Look for that user image. And I'm just checking for the existing image here. And then here I'm just updating it and setting the visibility to the opposite of what it was, right? There we go, setting the opposite of it, and that's it. And then I'm returning that, right? I'm actually returning the visibility here, whether it's true or not. And that's that, right? So if it's true, then I can just set it right here with my state. So there we go. That's pretty much all you need to do. And then here, you just do a isVisible check, right? So if it's visible, then render out the eye. If it's not visible, render out the closed eye. And that's it. And you can say private or public here. So you pass in the handle toggle visibility. It's going to run this function, and that's that. Now, one more thing I do want to emphasize that you should maybe add is this line right here. Before you actually do anything, if there's no current user or the current user ID doesn't equal the image that data user ID, then they shouldn't be able to edit this. All right, so just return null. Like, don't even render out this visibility button. They should have the like button. That's fine. That's completely fine, but not the visibility button. And you're going to see this in just a sec. So if we head back here to our post now, right, we can add it here. So let's go here and we'll say visibility. Let's import that. Okay, let's go here and render that out. So we'll pop in the visibility. Let's see. Astro plugins breaking. There we go. Get that function in there. There we go. Let's see. Will it render? Cool. See, by default, it's all on private. And there we go. Cool. But you're going to see if another user uploads an image, you're not going to have that button on it anymore, which is what we want. Okay, but there we go. So let's click on that. And it looks like it works fine. Let's do a refresh just to make sure. And it stays public. Okay, fantastic. So now on the home page here, it'd be really nice to just try to fetch all the public posts by the users. So let's do that as well. Before we wrap up this whole post component. So let's just go back to our home welcome page. What was it? Home. So now check this out. We can do something like this. Let me paste this in here. So we can do let's get rid of that. Let's do like a section, right? Add a class to this. Let's do flex call, item, center, gap of 2, something like that, right? So check this out. Can I have a H1 here like, hey, post shared by everyone. Check out the latest posts. Very cool, very trendy. We'll do a section where we can actually render them out. So we'll do a kind of the same thing as we did with a grid call. So we'll say grid. I guess you could make this reusable as well. So grid, I think we did grid calls of 3, right? On large grid calls of 3, and then grid calls of 1 on mobile with a gap of 4, right? Okay, so we can import the same post that we used everywhere else, right? We can just pop it in here like that. We got a post going, and then we can map over it. So we can do the same as we did here. Let me get rid of all of this. I don't need that in my front matter. Thank you very much. We can do images, right? But we can do it any way we want. Wait, DB query. Get my DB in here right now. User image, right? Pop that in. Find many. But again, what we want here is to make sure that only the ones that are public. So we can say EQ. And we can say user image, where the visibility is true. And also with I want to get the user, I want to get the likes, and I want to get the comments as well. So let's get all of that. We can even order them if you want. Do you want to order them? Let's order them. Order by, you want descending? We'll do descending. There we go, descending. Pass in the user image. We'll do it by the created at, right? There we go. Cool. So now, guess what we do? We do the same loop that we did before. Images map, get the post in, and that's it. We are done. And again, if you want to get the current user here, because we don't have that, well, again, you can do that with Astro locals, because you got the middleware all hooked up. And if you check, boom, would you look at that? All the public posts appear on the front page. Isn't that fantastic? And then let's go here. So if I go back to my dashboard, let's make the video public as well. So if we head back here, the video is public as well. Super cool. I'll show you, I'll just sign out. Maybe I'll do another user here, just to post by someone else, I guess. Let's see. So check this out. I just quickly did an incognito mode and signed in with another user here. So as you can see, when you go here to your dashboard, you're going to see no posts, no likes, right? And look at that. We can still like a post. So that one has 1 like. We can still see the user there. So if we check here, would you look at that? Look, my liked posts, we have 1. And look at that. I cannot edit this, which is great. That's what we want, right? So let's upload another image here. We'll do math, right? We'll do a bit of linear algebra. There we go. Get that pumping in there. Boom. All right. So there we go. We got an image as well. We got the like posts. We'll make that public as well. So now when we head back, look at that. We have images made by other people as well showing up here. Super duper cool. Okay, let's close this. We don't need it anymore. We can refresh here. Let's also create a quick like delete image functionality here. So I'll open this up, go to components, make a new file. Let's call this delete post.tsx or something like that. Delete image tsx. Okay, cool. Okay, so check this out. Again, we're gonna have is deleting, set is delete here to false. We're checking the current user. And again, we're just creating another action, right? We're passing in the image ID and just refresh that, right? So if we manage to delete it, then yeah, just like delete it. And then down here, what I ended up using is we're doing the check again, right? If the current user doesn't match the ID, then they shouldn't be able to delete this. And check this out, a little cool little thing here with, you can create a nice modal with Daisy UI. All you need to do is add a query selector here. And here for the dialog, I'm passing in the image data ID and rendering that as a modal, right? So I'm rendering a custom ID here for each dialog. And then I'm passing in the handle delete in here, right? In the button. Right, perfect. So now that we got that going, we can also set up this little delete image, which again is just gonna check the database and delete that post. Okay, so let's head over to the bot. We'll do it here. It's gonna be super, this is the whole handler right here. Delete image, right? Image ID it takes in. Same functionality, we're just checking here if the user image matches the image ID. And here we're deleting it, right? User image ID matches the existing image ID, get rid of it. Okay, that's it done. Let's give it a go. So back here, to refresh. We'll make sure we add it here so we can render it out as well. So let's head to our post. We'll go here, right? This is where we want it. Okay, let's get this sucker right in here at the top. Let's make sure we call this correctly, delete image. There we go, that should do it. And then here we can add it. And this is gonna have the same properties. So let me just add the image data, the client load, and the current user, right? Like that. Okay, that should be it. Let's have a look. Look at that, you got the delete button as well. So let's delete the cat, the goodbye cat. See, look at that nice pop-up now. Delete, and boom, done, gone. There we go, lovely. Okay, 2 more things I wanna do before we wrap this up. Let's also create some dynamic routes. So we can check out all the posts by this user, right? Or at least all the public posts that they do. So what we can do is Let's head here and we're gonna create a special folder here. So let's go to pages. I'm gonna hit A and we're gonna create a profile slash user ID like that slash Astro. Okay. Let's open this up. Now check this out. We can do some pretty cool stuff here. I'll import all the crap that we need here at the top. So let's do our front matter. There we go. So just the like DB stuff, right, that we need. And now I'm gonna say export async function get static paths. This is kind of like a Next.js, you know, when you're doing the get static props. So we can say users here, essentially map over all the users. The user find many. You can limit this as well if you want with the limit, right? I don't have users, so I don't need to worry about that. So here we can just return users.map and we can say user, and here return params like that, which is gonna be user ID, and now we can extract this from our params. So that's cool. Okay, so here after this, can go down here, we can get the user ID, we can get the current user as well, like that. What you mean it doesn't exist on type locals? I'm pretty sure it does. This is a little bug here. This should work. Yeah, this is gonna work after a refresh or something. Anyway, okay, we'll get to this if it doesn't work. Okay, so we can get the user ID from the params there like that. And then we can get the profile user. You can say oadb.query user, find first, that matches this, right? Where EQ matches the user ID, See, all it needed was a refresh and now it recognized it. Okay, so we got the profile user here, and then you can do something like this. If you want to do redirect, you can just use the Astro redirect like that. So if there's no profile user, then you can just redirect the user. And you can do this with the current user as well if you want to do something like that. That's how you do it. Okay, and that's it. That's all you need. And then you can fetch your images pretty much like we did before, right? With the visibility of true. So any images by the user that are posted as public, you can render them out, right? And then here, I'll just do a little layout like this. Again, you could probably reuse a lot of the code down here, but I'll just output it like this so you can see. So layout, right, with the main tag, we post the user image like that, with the profile posted by, and then we are just mapping over this. And for the image data here, we are passing down pretty much everything here. And it says it's missing the comments. So let's see why. Here, look. Comments, true. Okay, and then you're just rendering out that post component again, right? So that's it, that's all you need. And then you can go on that user, and if you click on the image there, look, you're viewing his profile with all the public images, right? If I go to It's the Test Boy, you can see all the images from It's the Test Boy. Super, super cool, right? Okay, nice. So that's done. One more thing would be nice to be able to go to that specific post, right? Click there, and it'll take us there. So that's pretty much going to be identical to this. So we can create a new one here, call it posts, right, slash postId.astro, something like that. Okay, and here again, it's going to pretty much be the same. We'll define our front matter. Let's get in a couple of things here, like the types. We'll get in the helpers, like that. I will go through this actually in a sec. Okay, so let's just do the get static paths. That's the first one. So we can do export async function get static paths. So we need to do it on the post IDs here. So I'm gonna say images equals away db query user image find many. Let's pop this open, right? And then here where, again, we need to check the visibility. So we can say user image.visibility is make sure that's set to true. So that's good. And then with here, we can get the, again, user true, comments true, and likes true. Something like that, okay? And then when we return something here, so we can do a return, we can map over these, right? Map. And we can actually return the data as well to pull it in the props. So you can do something like params. So the params is gonna be the post ID. So you can pass it as image ID. And then here you can do props like that and do image data, right? How kind of we had it before, and pass that down as well like that. And then to give it like the interface for the props here, we can just pass down interface props like that and just pass the image data, right? That's all we're getting from there. Again, the same as we had before, we can pull out the post ID and the current user. This is working. Again, it just needs a refresh. It's just being funny like that. And then I'm gonna actually fetch the current image, right? So, or post, and return all the users, the likes, and the comments on it as well. All right, so I'll fetch that as well individually like that, and that's it. So here, if there's something wrong with the post, then we'll just redirect. Otherwise, we can render everything else out. Now check this out. Let me kind of guide you through all the code that I've written here. So I have a main class, right? I'm just outputting basic information here about the user. I'm gonna display the media, just kind of how we did before. And then down here, I'll put the action buttons as well. And then here you can also display like how many likes you have with the format. And we'll do the comment form here as well, which we don't have. So we're pretty much doing the same thing. All I'm doing here is I'm going to the image comments and I'm looping over this, right? Image comments. And if the length is smaller than 0, then I'm gonna just say like output nothing, right? Otherwise, if it's bigger than 0, I'm gonna map over the image comments here. I'm just gonna output a little card here, right? With the content of that image. And that's pretty much it, right? That's all I'm doing here. Just doing a classical map. And that's it. And then we'll need a comment form to actually submit that, which we don't have. So let's make it. I'll just add React hook form to this, just to keep it a bit simple. So I'm gonna say npm I React hook form. Let's add this for this specific form. Let's open this up, go to components, make a new one, comment, form, TSX. And now here, I'll just bring all my React stuff up there at the top. And then here, again, we have the comment props as well. I'll have it like this, where we have an image data, we have the current user, and on comment added as well, which is gonna return nothing for us. But the comment here is gonna be a type of string like that. Okay, cool. So we can define this. We can say export default function comment form like that. And this is gonna, again, we are gonna have the image data here. We're gonna have the current user and the on comment added as well. So that's gonna come from, comment form props like that. Cool. Let's open that up. And here, let's get all the like React hook form in. So that's all we need there. We just get the register, reset. We'll have a kind of like is submitting check here that we can follow along. And this is how our on submit is going to look like as well. And then here we're going to have an on submit as well, which is going to take in the data. We're going to return nothing if there's no current user. I'm going to set the submitting to true. And we're just going to pass in the image ID here to the add comment action, which we're going to make, and the content as well. All right, so the actual text. And finally here, what I'll do is when it adds it, I'll just run a window location reload on it. If there's no current user in, we're going to have this message popping up as well, where we say, please log in to leave a comment. All right, because we shouldn't be able to do it otherwise. And otherwise, I'll just pop in this form here because it is a bit large and it takes ages to type out. So I'll just add it here for you, but you can copy paste this over. Okay, we're just hooking up a form, passing out. If you worked with React hook form before, this is super easy, right? Handle submit, pass that down there, register your content here. If there's any errors, chuck them out. And then here you can disable the form as well on if is submitting. That's pretty much it. Like that's all you need. We just need this. To be fair, we didn't even need React hook form here, but whatever. We have it, okay? We have it now. yeah, we just need this little action here. So let's head over. We're gonna head over to our actions. Check this out. Let's go here to the bottom, and all we need to do is insert one, right? So let's go here and paste that in. Let me guide you through it. So here what we do is we're essentially passing down the image ID, the content, and creating the new comment here, right? And returning it straight to our front end. And that's it. If it fails, we'll just return a fail, all right? We're just pushing that in there. Make sure you have the image ID and user ID as well, otherwise it won't work, right? You need those because of your foreign keys. Okay, and that should be it. So if we do let's reset this quickly like that. Comment, just so the actual actions here don't error out like it did before. Okay, so there we go. Let's try to give this a go. We need to import it in, of course, the postId. So let's head there. Say postId. And here we have the comment form. So let's make sure this is included. Let's head to the top. We'll do it here. Import comment form from zoo.components, right? And we can head over to the comment form like that. All right, so we got the comment form added there as well. So let's give that a go. Let's head back here. What is it? Something did not get imported correctly here. Delete image. There we go. Let's pop that in. And then the comment. What did I name this? Comment form. Oh, okay, there we go. Let's see. Does that load up? It does load up. There we go. So we have a little text area here. No comments yet with a little post icon. Let's do this. Paste. There we go. Look at that. How cool is that? All donezo. We hooked up a comment section. Of course, if you want to add like a rate limiter to this, you can do that as well. But that's pretty much it. Look at that. How cool. So now when we go back to the start, you can also output it here as like showing up the comment section if you want the number of comments. Now that you have that, you just need to check the post dot or image user image dot comments length, and you can output that as well. So there we go. That's kind of the gist of it. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll leave the GitHub code in the description. You can check it out. I really enjoy working with this Cloudinary API. It's super simple, straight to the point. You can add more like a bunch more like AI features to it. So I highly recommend you to head over to Astro Cloudinary here and check out their docs. So if we go here to integrating Cloudinary, oops, sorry, it's this one, right? They have a nice little examples here on how to set everything up. I really recommend you to check out their little AI section here because you can do like background removal and a bunch of other cool stuff. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this little fun little project here that we made. And I'll catch you in the next one. I'll promise you I'll have my Santa hat on for the next video. As you can see, I need to hide this nasty hair anyway. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.